Well, Mondays are usually the most boring day starting the week. However, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So, if you guys are a big fan of ChocoPro, well, you're in luck. The entire episode, we're going to be reviewing all of the much recent shows from ChocoPro, starting with, of course, their big show number 491 that happened in Tokyo Square in Itabashi, featuring, of course, the main event, the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. Well, Bellflowers, consistent of Sayaka and Makoto, will defend them against, of course, Soy and Miya Yatsuba. So we'll see what happens. And then, of course, the next three shows, numbered 492, 493, and 494, they're back in Ichigaya Square in the chocolate mat with some fun and exciting and wacky matches you definitely don't want to miss out. So we'll see how things roll out from there. And as always, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information has been unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get started. So, as I said, since the beginning of this episode, it's all about ChocoPro. So let's begin with, of course, 491 called Rivals. Okie dokie. So, we're beginning with ChocoPro number 491 Rivals. It happened, of course, back on November 28th in TokyoSquare in Itabashi. Now, many of you guys know that this is one of their big shows, not in the actual wrestling ring, but of course that's how they do it. Normally, all their shows they do it at Ichigaya Square, but the big shows in the actual ring in one of the bigger shows, such as of course Tokyo Square or Shinkiba, Shinjuku, that sort of places. But anyway, we opened up with 6-person tag team match. We have Irikani, Tokiko Kihara, and Minoru Fujita. They take on Kaho, Hiroya Wada, and Sayaka Obihiro, also we know and call her Obi. So practically nothing too special about this match. Now, however, you can tell that majority of one team is all women, while the other has two women and one man in it. So nothing too special about it. But however, you ask yourselves, how is this gonna change? Well, nothing did. But it was in fact, of course, a 3-on-1 by, of course, Kaho, Hiroi, and Obi that pinned Tokiko all at the same time while they were able successfully to separate her from her team. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match is a singles match. We have, of course, Jonathan Johnson, who many of you may not know. He actually wrestles with the Thailand promotion Set Up. He faced against Chris Brooks. So obviously it's going to be an amazing match because for those who do know, Chris Brooks has wrestled in Set Up before, and I'm sure they have dealt with each other before. But in the end, it was Chris Brooks that walked away with the win when he submitted Jonathan Johnson, and just like that, Johnson tapped out and giving the win straight up to Chris Brooks. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. We have Chiko Shikawa and Hagane Shino, also known as Egg Tarts, faces off against the Best Bros, Mei Shruga and Balinaki. And of course, they are also facing off against Chonchiru and Lee Yone Yamanakoa, of course, also known as Coyote Yonoyama. They're dressed up as Kung Fu something, pandas or whatever. But anyway, this is one of those predictable type of matches, of course, where you have to determine how this is going to play out. I mean, we know that the Egg Tarts and the Best Bros have dealt with each other before in the past, but dealing with the third team becomes a bit more difficult. But one thing that was interesting is that this match was almost won by the Best Bros, but the Egg Tarts took the opportunity to pick up the win, all thanks to a combination of pinfall by both Chi and Hagane onto Chon, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But during the post match, you can tell that the Best Bros were not happy. They felt like we had this match won, but like the Ektarts they took the opportunity and they won. Of course, I did mention they have faced off each other. You can say they're rivals in any way possible, but it is what it is. Our next match, we have Ryuichi Sekine versus Antonio Honda. Now, of course, Antonio Honda, many of you who may or may not know who he is, he's like the version of Santino Marella before he was like this funny dude. But the one thing is, he likes to stop the matches and do his story times. But however, that did not work because he gets knocked out. But however, Antonio Honda was able to survive against Sekine when he put him in a submission. And of course, Sekine had no choice but to tap out. Now, our next match is for the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. The Bellflowers, consisting of Sayaka and Makoto, defends it once more against Soy and Miyatsuba. Now remember, it's all about tag team cohesion between two people in the same team. Now, we have seen developments between Soy and Miyatsuba since they formed this team, who knows how long. But they've always been on the same page and they're determined to reach for the top. But they have had challenge for these belts before, but became unsuccessful. But the real question is, can they pull it off? Well, they're facing against a team that has a bit more experience from each other. Now, Makoto and Sayaka, you can say that they're more of a makeshift team because they hardly team up, but they were successful in doing the job right. But in the end, we did see, of course, the Mia punch onto Sayaka, and just like that, Mia made the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Just like that, it's over. Soy and Miyatsuba finally become the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions. And not to mention, this is the first time these two ladies obtain championship around their waist. And this is the first time they've ever done it. And I'm sure many of us are very happy for her. So we'll see how things will roll out for them. So we'll sit close to what they're going to do next. And after that, I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next one, of course. It's 492. Okay, so we continue with more with ChocoPro. Now remember, we're now the remaining reviews with ChocoPro are now in Ichigaya Square on the chocolate mat. So just laying out there for all of you so you guys can follow along. Now this one happened, of course, on November 30th, It's also this one's number 492, in case anybody asks. Now, we had Balin Aki, of course, opening up the show, giving the info and the lowdown and the greetings to the fans, but also in giving some, of course, other infos regarding certain things that were taking place. So that's how he normally operates. Now, our first match features tag team action. We have Kaho Hiromi teaming up with Shin Suzuki to take on Chiko Shikawa and Tokiko Kirihara. Now, obviously, we know these ladies can work together in some obvious ways because of two reasons. One, they have faced off each other before, and two, they're part of the same generation that came on together. Remember, these two ladies were in the same class with Sayaka and a few others, which is that makes them the fourth generation. So that makes them, they know exactly what they need to do in this matter. But the real question is how this is going to play out. Now, many of you would think, will Kaho possibly be the weakest link? Well, she was, because Chi was the one who pinned her. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Our next match, we have singles action. We have Iri Kane taking on one half of the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions, Miya Yatsuba. Now, of course, Miya, as you all know, has gained a lot of momentum. Not since, we have seen her grown up, but she has gained momentum now that she is one half of the Asian Tag Team Champions. That means she's going to try to, of course, pursue more wins as possible. And that's exactly what she's going to do. But however, of course, we know that Irikani has a bit more less experience than Miya in every way, because we know Miya has been there before she did. And that plays out very well. But in the end, it was, of course, Miya who applied the Texas Cloverleaf. And just like that, Kane had no choice but to tap out. Our next match, we have another tag team. We have Hiroi Iwata and Sayaka Obihiro taking on, of course, the Best Bros, Mei Shruga and Balin Aki. Now, of course, many of us know that the Best Bros are more of the cohesion team. More, of course, they we have often seen them win a lot of their big matches. That's always been who they were. But however, we know that Obi has dealt with the Best Bros too many times. We know that she can sense what they're going to do, what their weaknesses are, but can Hiroi catch up? Well, unfortunately, Hiroi ended up being pinned by Mei Shruga, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, on to our Jonkin tournament. Now, I wasn't too sure where this is going to go, but the one thing I can tell you how this end, because we had master and student in the finals. If you guys don't know who I'm referring to, I'm talking about Miya Tsuba and Mei Shruga. If you guys hadn't forgotten, Mei Shruga was the one who trained Miya, and now the tables have come. Now remember, Miya has won, both Miya and Mei has won their respective matches. But who walks away in the Jonkin tournament? Well, all of a sudden, it was the student who beat the teacher in the Jonkin tournament. And just like that, Mia wins the piece of chocolate, and she's 2 for 2. And just like that, it was completely over. So I think I have to say I enjoyed this event, but it was a lot of fun. Now, we will continue with more of ChocoPro, so let's continue on with 493. All right, ChocoPro 493. This happened, of course, on the 1st of December. We had, of course, what's her name? The Best Bros, both Mei Shruga and Balin Aki opening up the show, doing their usual greetings and the info on the events matches, of course, and that sort of thing. Our first match, we have Hiroi Iwata and Sayaka Obihiro taking on Chi and Sayaka. So basically, we have two Sayakas in this one. So let's call Obihiro just Obi, in case anybody asks. Now, of course, we know that Chi and Sayaka have teamed up before in the past. And don't forget, guys, much like Tokiko, Sayaka also is part of the same class with Chi. So they work pretty well. We have seen them team up often. We've seen how Sayaka has picked up a lot of good wins, had gained a lot of experience, and that's always plays out. But as for Hiroi and Sayaka Obihiro, well, as you know, Obi has more experience here, maybe close to 15 years or so, depending. Um, Hiroi maybe 1 year, I'm not sure about that. But yes, that's how it plays out. But in the end, it was Sayaka who picked up the win by using the Northern Lights suplex onto Hiroi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have Shivam. Originally, he was supposed to face against Chonshiru, but unfortunately, he was unable to do so. I don't know what the main reason was, but he was replaced by none other than Gabai Pro Wrestling founder Ken Oka. Of course, as you probably know him, he's the guy I always go, whoa, 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 back communications. Yep, the same guy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. However, of course, Shivam is one of the top stars from Setup, so it's going to be interesting to see two guys who are from two different promotions face off each other. But it was Ken Oka who walked away with the win when he applied a spear onto him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have a 6-person tag team match. We have team number 1. We have Shota Kawakami, Tokiko Kirihara, and Jonathan Johnson taking on Kaho Hiromi. And of course, she teams up with the Best Bros, both Balinaki and Mei Suruga. Now, of course, for those who don't know, Mei Suruga and Kaho, they're like and somewhat siblings, have similar type of their childish ways how they play out. So it plays too well for them because Balinaki can't stand Mei Suruga's shenanigans, and now the shenanigans double up with Kaho, which is the last thing he needs. Of course, it gets him a bit not annoyed, but more like, oh, you got to be kidding me, girl. Why do I have to put up with this? That sort of thing. But it works pretty well. Now, of course, it's not an easy task for anybody, but it was, of course, the Best Bros with the Dolphin Press onto Kokiko, but it was Mei Suruga who walked away with the win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, se acabó. Now, our Jonkin tournament, well, this one I have to say I did not expect it because the finals ended up with, of course, the general manager of ChocoPro, Ewa Kizuki, and she faced against Chiko Shikawa. Now, these two ladies have won Jonkin tournaments in the past, but who walks away? Well, the person who walks away is the general manager, Ewa Kizuki, and just like that, it was completely over. A real fun show, I have to say. Real fun, and I enjoyed it. So, I think that's pretty much it what we have for everyone. I believe it's time to, of course, move on to our last and final review, and that is, of course, more with ChocoPro on 494. Okay, final review as we continue with ChocoPro. Number 494 and happened on December 14 in Ichigaya Square, just to let everybody know. Well, it opened up with, of course, with the general manager, Aoi Kizuki, doing her usual thing, greeting the fans, giving the info on the event's matches. So that's how it rolls out. Now, our first match, we have singles action. Irikane versus Sayaka. Now, of course, we know that Sayaka had the much better edge in this match if anybody's been following. As you know, Sayaka is one of Emi Sakura's fourth generation girls that she trained. And not to mention, of course, Irikane. Well, we know she has some great ability, not to mention she has some great spears that she can do. But they're unmatched to, of course, Sayaka's abilities, where she throws in a little bit of the aggressiveness in her style. And she was able to pick up the win once again when she applied a Northern Lights suplex. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have another 6-person tag team match. We have Tokiko Kihara, Matsumoto Nakamura from Gambari Pro, and Shin Suzuki teaming up. They take on Kaho Hiromi, Shiko Shikawa, and Hagane Shino. What was strange, for many of you that know, Kaho teams up with the Egg Tarts, so that kind of sets it up right there. But nothing too special about it. But of course, we know that she and Hagane do have a great cohesion. I mean, we know from their early days, Hagane has always been a protector to Chi, but now that Chi can stand on her 2 feet, and of course, Hagane told her it's time to act like an equals once again, and that's exactly what they did. But they have to add Kaho. I know that Hagane dislikes Kaho, but she does have a childish way that always works in his favor. But in the end, it was Hagane that put Shin Suzuki in a sleeper hold, and of course, he had to tap out just like that. Now, our main event, we have tag team match, and Hiromi Yawata and Sayaka Obihiro take on the tag team champions Soy and Miya Yatsuba in a non-title match. However, if they're successful enough, they could cash in an opportunity for the tag team belts. However, of course, we have to see how cohesion both Hiroi and Obi can be, because we have seen how teams have formed. You have to build a good chemistry, good communications within the ring, and that's something we often see. Now, Soy and Mia, as you know, when they started out as a makeshift team, they were able to get along. I mean, you look at, of course, Soy, who's been of a powerhouse in some capacity, but it plays out pretty well. Mia, of course, well, she was trained by May. She has a bit of the aggressive side that can help her out in many aspects. But as for Hiroi, we know she's trying to get her footing, and of course, Obi, who has more experience than everyone combined in the ring, knows exactly what she needs to do. But however, that didn't do any well for Hiroi, because she was double pinned by both Mia and Soy, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now for our Jonkin tournament, this one ended up in a very unusual way in the finals. Hagen Ishino ended up in the finals taking on the other referee. I don't know his name. We know he's been mentioned before, but well, it was Hagane who walked away with the win and won the piece of chocolate. And that's how things ended up right there. So it was completely over. So we're now catched up with all of ChocoPro's events. I'll see what we can do. We can catch up with the rest. But as of right now, we'll end things here and move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin as always with some upcoming events. First, as you know, we have GCW with their stuff. We had the Do or Die event on the 31st of December, which is New Year's Eve, and they just announced a thing called the 6 Feet Under Death Match between Shotzi Blackheart and Priscilla Kelly, as many of you know her back in NXT as Gigi Dolan. Then, of course, on the 17th of January 2026 in Dallas, the Code of the Street, Effie will take on KJ Orso, formerly known as, of course, Fuego del Sol. And then finally, on the 31st of January in 2026 in Philadelphia, Crushed Up, Joey Janela will take on Rick Blade. Now, for some updates with DEFY Wrestling, apparently there'll be some events happening back to back. The first one is called Aeon, that will happen on the 27th of December in Seattle. Jack Evans will take on Evans Rivers. And then the following day in LA for Enders, the DEFY tag team titles will be on the line. Sinner and Saint will defend their belts against a group of guys called themselves Cartel de los Villanos. So basically, it's like saying the villain cartels or something like that. I'm not sure, but yes. And then finally, as you all know, on February 20th, Prestige Wrestling will be going on their hiatus, and their official last event's called Roseland. And they just announced a Roseland Rumble, so we don't know who's going to be in it, but I can't wait to hear more about it. Now for some interesting developments for all of you. The first one, many of you heard about a show that will be canceled from AEW. Well, it's not either Dynamite or Collision. It's in fact a show you normally see on YouTube that features RJ City. Now, people are speculating that RJ City has been fired. However, Fightful Select confirms officially that RJ City is not fired from AEW. Basically, they just canceled his show. Now, it's still unclear what the situation is or what they're going to do, but if there's anything, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. Now, CyberFight, which is the parent company that owns both DDT Pro Wrestling, TokyoSquare Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Noah, has announced the fiscal year losses. Now, apparently, this is what it was told. Just bear with me. In 2025, they had about 212 million yen. That's like the equivalent of close to up to $1,400. So that's pretty much. Now, the following year, which is now, Apparently, it dropped down all the way to 14 million yen. So that's like the equivalent of $91,000. So basically, they lost a lot of money. Now, the real question is, how did that happen? Well, apparently, some people are saying it's the Osawa effect. Now, for those who probably ask yourself, what the hell is the Osawa effect? Well, it's the name of the wrestler named Osawa. Osawa is the main reason Noah has been lost a lot of money. Now we know in the past Noah has suffered losses because they had dealt with a lot of things in the past with money losses, it, problems with the government. I know they one time they had a problem with, of course, they were accused that they were involved with the yakuza, that sort of thing. But hopefully they can bounce back. Now, not too long ago, I give you guys an update about a Japanese promotion called Kyushu Pro Wrestling, where they announced that they're going to have a women's division. Well, this women's is called Kujo, and they just announced Sayaka Hoshino, who passed the audition and will be the first ever signed. So basically, they have their first recruit. But they did stated that they will be extending more auditions for these women, although for have women wrestling in their division, uh, going all the way to March of 2026. So it's good. So it seems they're making progress on that. But the real question is how much women they can get into their division. We will pay attention to that. Now, L.A. Park, many of you know him as the original L.A. Parker, not the L.A. Park who passed away not too long of a couple of years ago, but the original L.A. Park. Talked to Fightful Select mentioned about how Arn Anderson defended the luchadors from racism during their time in WCW. So it's great to hear that Arn Anderson defending these wrestlers. I know that Lucha Libre has been one of those things that everybody in WCW enjoyed, especially me growing up. I used to watch a lot of Lucha Libre as a kid, but it's great that he defended it. Now, Sareee, as you know, just recently went on an interview with Tokyo Sports and had a lot of things that she had to talk about. Amongst them is her loss towards Natsupoi, and this is what she said. I never lost to Natsupoi before, and I thought I would never lose to her. The moment she got the 3 count on me, I couldn't believe it. I thought, no way. Yeah. So basically, she's in shock that she can't believe she lost to her. And this is one of those moments where Sareee has to get her head in the game. So we'll see what happens because we do know they have a match coming up on the 29th of December, the Queendom. But she also talked about this as well. Until now, I never had the same promotion with Natsupoi this year, but being in Stardom and fighting against Natsupoi and seeing her challenge for the world title made me realize once again how strong and formidable Natsupoi is. So it's great that she's seeing now that that she has challenged for the red belt but was too short. So we'll see about that. And of course, she talked about this. Even we met in private after the world title match. I saw Natsumi in some sort of resign mode, saying things like, "It's impossible now. I thought I had to be the one to wake her up." So I invited her to Surism in November, and I'm the only one who can make my best friend get serious, and I felt it was my turn. We have been best friends all this time, but time we can fight each other as wrestlers has a limit. So I wanted to fight her seriously, and I wanted to defeat Serious Natsupoi, and I want Natsumi to challenge the red belt and win. So at Ryogoki, I want it to be the kind of match that pushes Natsumi forward and go on that top, and I will win. So yeah, so basically, she has been watching her and she's been seeing how down she was. I mean, yeah, she was unsuccessful about that. Now, on the Click This, which is a podcast, apparently Kevin Nash was asked about Nick Khan's claim that Rey Mysterio was considered a nothing in WCW. Now, I like to say this, and I'm going to say it to you. F you, Nick Khan. What do you mean he did nothing? Rey Mysterio was amazing. He did a lot of things in WCW, so F you. There it is. Now, this is what Kevin Nash had to say to what Nick Khan's claims. I don't know in what context Nick said that. Was Ray considered a nothing in WCW? I disagree because, I mean, he beat me. WCW went out of business in 2001, and it's 2029. So what are you saying, Nick? You have you had him for 25, 20, 20 for 25 for 20 years. He meant more than the effing 4 years he was in WCW, and I'm sure as so you are an effing 5 billion an effing Netflix deal. You got a 1.6 billion A-spin deal. He means more. Really? There's more eyes on him now. God, Nick's a effing crafty effing guy. So if you guys ever see Nick Khan and see that, do everybody a favor. Tell him to go F himself, because what he's saying about Rey Mysterio is a total lack of BS. He has contributed a lot. He was fantastic in WCW. I mean, the one thing that sucked is being forced to remove the mask, but he has done everything. So I don't know where Nick get his head up his butthole and claims all this. So if you guys ever see Nick Khan, tell him to go F off. Now, moving on from that, one more thing. F you, Nick Khan. Now, so Ruca recently has mentioned about Oney Lorcan in the person that learned the most from. And this is what she said. I think I'm going to say Oney Lorcan. He is my coach now. Oney and Sarah Amoto, they are incredible. Oney, I watched one of his matches last night and tag, and he just so intense and so quick, and it looks good. And I think he and I have bonded over the past few years. He has the one person that revert to for the question and pick up the brain on stuff. So yeah, so she's learning a few things from Oney Lorcan. If you guys ever seen him, he is a tough SOB. You know, he hits hard. He has like that technical aspect type of style. So it's a real fun to watch. Now, Yota Tsuji just recently had an interview with New Japan Pro Wrestling talking about the IWGP World Heavyweight title, on how, of course, never merged the IWGP title and Intercontinental title back in 2021. Many of you may remember this was something that was combined recently by Kota Ibushi. And this is what he had to say about that. I think it's critical to reconnect with our history. That means reviving the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. If I win on January 4th, I would merge the World Heavyweight title lineage into the heavyweight. Back then, I was just a young lion and I was frustrated, but couldn't speak up. If I was in a position to say that, then I would have tried to stop the unification on the heavyweight and intercontinental championship. To me, the IWGP World Heavyweight title is a curse. Now, for many of you may try to understand, what the hell does this mean? Let me explain it to you. Back then, what's his name? Tetsuya Naito became a double champion. He obtained both the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, which is the top title, and then there's, of course, the Intercontinental Championship. So he had those belts in his possession. Now, he had no interest, of course, of combining it, but defend those belts at the same time. Now, that's, of course, until Kota Ibushi came along and won those belts. He decided to unify both of them. Now, there were some criticism regarding about that. Now, Will Ospreay, as you know, he did not like the fact that there was no longer an Intercontinental Championship, but he feels that this was Naito's fault. If he wasn't that considered, he would not have unified the belts. He never blamed Kota Ibushi for this. I mean, he does feel like Ibushi should not have emerged, but the person who instigated the whole thing was Naito. And Yota Tsuji feels like we need to go back to the old ways with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. You know, if he does pull it off, then I'm sure many fans will be happy about it, including some wrestlers that we know will probably be happy with it too. But we'll just see what happens until then. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for now for our news update. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you probably know, we have NXT as we head to New Year's Evil and everything else. We don't know what's going to happen. I do think we do have, of course, uh, the AEW Dark for one night only. I think that's going to be uploaded soon or so, but we'll see what happens. But we'll just take a look at it. And if there's anything else, I'll let you guys know. So we'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I'm going to bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. and have a nice day. Bang.